sure you've all seen these videos where people show how much money they've made online, but the question is, do you want to be watching or do you want to be the one making the money? So in this Christmas special, I'm going to show you how you can become the one that's counting the money by investing in thematic ETFs. Let's jump in. Hey guys, my name is Valentin and welcome back to Inventing a Better You. So the first question for this video is, what are thematic ETFs? Well, thematic ETFs are very similar to an exchange traded fund in the sense that they look over companies that are all under one holding. However, the difference is that they focus on a very specific theme. So themes can be very broad, such as a technology theme, but you can go even more specific like cloud computing or virtual networks and so on. So if you can find a thematic ETF that follows a current hot trend, you can make a lot of money, and the upside here is huge. Some of the ETFs that I'll be covering in this video have made over 150% returns in 2020. Now, if you pick an ETF that's falling out of a trend, then there's a potential upside for loss. So you have to be very careful and treat these in a similar fashion as a momentum stock. So make sure you go in at the right time and hold it for the right amount of time. Of course, this is easier said than done. However, they are less volatile than stocks because they contain multiple holdings, so usually 50 to a few hundred. So the fluctuations of up and down are not as abrupt, and they don't last as long. So essentially, you can hold these ETFs for a good 2 years, making profit before they crash. Now, in this video, I'm going to focus on two hot trends for 2020, and we're going to look at 5 ETFs that are under these two trends, and these are expected to continue in 2021. The first one is the green energy wave, and what I mean by that is companies that focused on clean energy and electric cars, and we're hoping to see a continuation in this, especially with the new president-elect in the United States, who is a huge supporter for this type of movement. And the second one is the post-COVID-19 pandemic. As we've seen in 2020, there was a huge rise in cloud computing, virtual work software, biotech companies, biomed, genomics. All these companies flourished in 2020 because of the pandemic. So because this is something that's expected to still be around 2021, I don't think we'll see any change in terms of the profitability of these ETFs. So without further ado, let's jump in and see what are the top 5 recommendations for 2021. All right, so here I've put together a small watch list on Yahoo Finance. This is a site that I've used in my previous video, and it's free to use for everyone. And let's go with the first exchange traded funds. I'll start from the bottom up here, BOTS. So BOTS is the Global X Robotics and Artificial Intelligence ETF. And basically, for those who are feeling optimistic about the future for robot adoption utilization, this ETF is perfect because it provides exposure to some of the most innovative companies in the space. And if we go on holdings, we can see industrials and technologies are way heavily here. And we have NVIDIA, ABB, LTD, which ones will recognize, and Keyence Corp. So these are the holdings. And let's take a quick look at performance. So for this year, this ETF has made almost 50% return. And in 2019, it did 31. In 2018, this is one of the stock market crashes. It also crashed quite a bit. So automatically, you can see a difference between thematic ETFs and the regular ETFs. And when they do drop, they drop by a lot. So going back to the summary page, the yield is very low. And the expense ratio is significantly higher than other ETFs. So it's kind of like, well, you're paying for the potential higher gains. And this is the 5-year plot. It was a bit up and down. This is the 2018 drop and then going back up. Okay, so that's the first one. Let's go back to the watch list here and click on LIT. So this is the Global Lithium and Battery Tech ETF. And basically it looks at all sort of holdings that follow lithium. So lithium batteries that are used in many technologies, cars, cameras, portable devices, medical devices, and so on. And this is a good one for the electric movement, the green wave that I was discussing before. So for that theme, this is a very general ETF that covers many areas. And once again, the expense ratio, so this is the yearly fee that you'd be paying, it's pretty high. And if we look at the performance, we can notice, so since 2019, this stock did really well. I mean, it 106% this year. 2019, it barely produced anything, 2.8, but then 2018, big loss. So once again here, you have to be very careful and really ride the momentum wave. If you stay too long with these, you could lose money. So this is expecting to continue in 2021. As I was mentioning before, there's a lot of incentives for the electric movement coming from the US. And if we look at, let's look at some of the holdings on here, basic materials technology, we see Tesla and Panasonic are part of them. So going back to the portfolio, moving on to the next one, QClean. This is another ETF in the same genre. This was very popular this year. Again, high expense ratio, 5-year performance, and it exploded in this year. If you look here, 166% return for 2020, and 2019 it did really well again. So QClean basically focuses on companies that look into biofuels, solar energy, advanced batteries, etc. And if we look at holdings again, industrials technology, we have Neo Inc. This is a Chinese car manufacturer that's supposed to be a big competitor of Tesla, which did really well this year. It's 13.9% of the company of these of the holdings. So basically, if this company does poorly, this fund is going to crash because it's weighed very heavily in this one company. And we also have Tesla here for just for a reference here, 5.97%. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Let's keep clean. ARK. Now the ARK ETFs. I think every single investor that's played around with ETFs knows about the ARK funds, and I think that there's 7 of them, 5 or 7. Anyways, they have done really well for this year. We're looking at 151% return, and this particular one has done well in 2019 and 2017 as well. So big returns. Just going back to the summary page, we have a high expense ratio just like the others, and basically ARK, they follow an all-into-one approach, and they combine 3 thematic funds, and that's genomic revolution, industrial innovation, and I think it's like some sort of web interface 10.0. And some of the big firms like Tesla are included on here, Alibaba, and so on. So if we look under holdings, there's Tesla, there's Roku as well. So anyways, this has been a very good fund in terms of performance, and it's expected to continue performing in 2021. So back to the watch list. For the very last one, I've put in a blockchain technology here, and that is called the Amplified Transformation Data Sharing ETF. And this is basically investing in the blockchain technology, not necessarily Bitcoin, but Bitcoin has been very successful in the past year, and it's expected to continue increasing. But there's a lot of speculation around this field. So if you don't want to actually go and buy cryptocurrency, this is a good ETF to own. And if we're looking again under performance, 75% this year. It's a relatively new ETF, so it doesn't have much history. 2019, it did pretty good as well. And yeah, high MER, just like the others.
So I hope you found this video useful, and please remember all the content on this channel is purely for educational purposes to improve your knowledge and gain confidence in investing. With that being said, I am not an investment advisor, and I shall not be held accountable for any gains or losses you may incur. I wish everybody happy holidays and a happy new year, and I'll catch you in the next video. Ciao.